Welcome and thank you all for participating in this event. I'm Mooney Jensen, moderating today from Washington, D.C. And on behalf of Latin Trade, Santiago Gutierrez, Editor-in-Chief, I would first of all congratulate the 5 companies recognized on this year's IndexAmerica Award and express our gratitude to their leadership in creating a sustainable agenda. We will start the program with introductory remarks from Latin Trade's chairman, Richard Burns. Richard is a general partner of ISIS Ventures, a fund that's invested in community media enterprises in New York and Latin trade in Latin America. An Oxford graduate, Richard is president and CEO of Thomson Financial Media, president and CEO of Euromoney Publications America, and has served in a variety of public and private boards, including the American Society, Council of the Americas, Intelligence Security Systems, and the American Museum of Natural History, as well as Carnegie Hall. Thank you, Richard, for joining us today.
Well, and thank you, Muni. Can you hear me? Hello? Muni?
Yes, your sound is
okay,
perfect.
Good.
Thank you.
Well, it's a great pleasure to be with such fine company this morning. And honestly, it's very gratifying to see what's developed from an engaged conversation with Bernardo Guillemot and Vicky Flores in Washington nearly 5 years ago now, as the Inter-American Development Bank was actually preparing to launch its IndexAmericas. Latin Trade had always been involved in seeking excellence and benchmarking performance in Latin America. And this was, once again, a wonderful area for collaboration. Indeed, thanks to my involvement with Latin Trade and the Americas Society, I've had the privilege to have been a front row witness to Latin American events for many years now. And enough to have discovered the region's tremendous strengths, and on the other side, some of its frailties and contradictions. For example, resource-rich and enormously biodiverse Latin America has been challenged to fully address pollution and deforestation, the region's 2 most serious environmental issues, according to a recent IDB study. It also exhibits starkly ambivalent attitudes towards harmful agricultural and extraction policies, torn between economic and degradation poles. Despite the region's evident vulnerability, climate-related disaster management has also not been terribly effective. And according to the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization statistics published 3 years ago, 98 of the world's most serious natural disasters have occurred in Latin America, and 80% of these were climate related. It isn't really all bad news, and corporate involvement in ESG programs has improved tremendously since that conversation with Bernardo and Vicky. For example, in the IDB's IndexAmericas itself, which lists the 100 most sustainable publicly listed firms, it's been largely made up by foreign multinationals since its inception. However, in the last 3 years, the number of Latin American firms has increased by almost 30%. And another example, in 2017, only 42 companies from Chile, Colombia, Mexico, and Peru met the standards to be part of the Dow Jones Sustainability Index. And this year, that number grew to 116 firms. Clearly, a lot more needs to be done. Sustainability is currently a strong wave, but it's far from being the tsunami that the region needs. And going green will not be enough in the coming years. A sharp turn to socially sustainable business is particularly important now that the COVID pandemic has hit Latin America and the Caribbean considerably greater than any other geographic region on the planet. And slow economic growth expected for 2021 and 2022 will work against employment, against cutting back on poverty, against reducing inequality, against bridging digital and gender divides, against checking the world's highest homicide rate, and again, stopping rampant corruption. The challenge is big, but the companies that receive the Latin Trade IndexAmericas Sustainability Awards in 2020 are here to tell us that it's possible to do things and to do things right. And so for Merck, NG Brazil, Cemex, Givaudan, and Kimberly Clark all have extraordinary stories to share. And we thank them and we congratulate them for that. And let me extend a warm welcome to all the winners, to our distinguished speakers, Mauricio Claver-Carone, Monica Aspe, Karen Vizental, Bernardo Guillemot, to you in the audience, and of course to you, Mooney, and back to you.
Thank you, Richard. And we do have a fantastic set of awardees and a good roster of speakers today. And I will start with, and we do have the privilege for the second time to have Mauricio Claver-Carone, president of the IDB, joining us for this award ceremony. It's good to see you again, Mauricio. And his presence underscores the very strong partnership between Latin Trade and the Inter-American Development Bank, as well as the institution's renewed commitment to regional sustainable growth. Today, we'll do something a little different. Mauricio will be joined by Monica Aspe. She's the CEO of AT&T Mexico, and they will hold a conversation about the joint role that business and the multilateral organizations play in creating a comprehensive agenda for reactivating the region, which is kind of what everybody wants right now, and more importantly, to discuss their plans for the future. So welcome, Mauricio. We'll start with you, and welcome, Monica, and we will start both of you off precisely on this theme to set the stage for our conversation. And I'll just start in general. What is the role of sustainability in Latin America's recovery from the perspective of first Mauricio from the multilateral organizations, and then Monica from private companies like AT&T? So we'll start with the IDB.
Well, first of all, thank you, Mooney. And this is our second event in 2 weeks. So we're going to be a tag team now from now on. We'll make it a weekly tag team. And Monica, pleasure to be here with you. And congratulations to all the winners. And thank you so much for this kind invitation. It's really a pleasure to join Latin Trade and all of the corporate leaders from our region around the world who obviously are with us today on this 4th IndexAmericas Sustainability Award. So look, as you know, the IndexAmericas is the IDB Group's corporate sustainability index for Latin America and the Caribbean. And we're particularly proud that it is the first sustainability index ever created by a multilateral development bank. So it allows us to amplify the great work that's being done by companies with us today also, and in areas such as job creation, economic development, environmental sustainability, women's empowerment, and social investment. And this index allows us to celebrate that work and to inspire others, as we're doing here today with our 5 award winners. But as you referenced in your first question, Mooney, the current context for Latin America and the Caribbean is really one of unprecedented challenges, unprecedented in the 61-year history of this bank. And that makes private sector leadership more important than ever. In short, and I've said this many times, our region will need a private sector-led recovery from this pandemic. And for us to really achieve that true recovery, it has to also be environmentally and socially sustainable. So there's really no other option. And there are really 2 fundamental and mutually reinforcing perspectives on this. So the first, environmental and social sustainability works to safeguard development gains. That's a fact. It secures and extends the positive impact of those investments into the long term, which is what we strive for. And secondly, sustainability means immense new opportunities. So there's no trade-offs. It's not a zero-sum game in terms of green growth and the new industries and the jobs that will emerge from that. And in terms, of course, of supporting real structural change for more resilient economies and societies, which is the great lesson from this pandemic. So we're being forced to rethink and rebuild our economics and societies, and we have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to do that. And as more and more companies around the world are realizing sustainability makes financial sense for them, it's common sense, it's a win-win. There are major opportunities for the private sector, particularly when it promotes sustainability in our region in terms of taking part of new business ventures, improving productivity, and the business climates. Let me just give you an example by juxtaposing 2 facts. Our region is one of the world's most vulnerable to the effects of climate change. We saw that obviously recently in the effects of hurricanes Eta and Iota when they hit Central America, and a record storm season. Unless warming is limited to less than 2 degrees Celsius, our region is going to suffer climate-related damage that could reach $100 billion annually by 2050. Now, consider this. The path towards decarbonization could create 15 million net new jobs in our region by 2030 in areas such as plant-based food production, renewable energy, construction, manufacturing, just to name some. So these are powerful examples in terms of social sustainability and climate, and that the fact that there are not trade-offs in that regards. In social sustainability, women, we all know they've borne the brunt of the pandemic and have fallen out of the workforce at higher rates than men. Just boosting women's labor participation would have a tremendous impact. And it's not a moral imperative alone, it's an economic one as well. Think about this, closing the labor participation gender gap could increase the region's GDP by an average of almost 23%. There's nothing else we can do that would have that type of impact on economies. It's the right thing to do. It makes the most economic sense in the world. And by the way, just that OECD averages would make a tremendous impact. The takeaway is that sustainability pays off. And that's the lesson for us here. It helps us mitigate risk, strengthen societies, and opens up major opportunities for growth at the same time. And that's why sustainability in the various forms that we're discussing here and we've seen is really at the heart of IDB's blueprint for the region's post-pandemic recovery, which we just presented at our annual meeting, which we call Vision 2025. And that's why we're also focusing more than ever on partnering with the private sector, key to advance this agenda. And I know that we're going to be discussing that in greater detail today, and I look forward to this conversation. So thank you.
So Monica, we'd like to hear from you.
Thank you, Mooney. Hello, Mauricio, and congrats to all the winners. You make us proud of what the private sector can achieve when working in collaboration, in coordination with the public sector. The pandemic has had negative effects, we know, not only in health and economic recession, but also in terms of sustainability and diversity and inclusion, including gender equality. We've walked back, which is something we really didn't expect to do at this moment. So in the midst of so many negative impacts, we have confirmed a couple of positive points. One is the power of digitization to build a better future. So let me mention 4 points which we consider key for a sustainable and inclusive recovery. We need to bridge a digital divide together. At AT&T, we create connections. That's what we do. Digital connectivity has become really the backbone of human development in contemporary societies. It is absolutely key for recovery from the economic recession because connectivity plays a very fundamental role for all digitalized sectors of the economy. We have the tremendous opportunity of working in an industry that enables this technological and societal revolution, and it is in AT&T in the technology sector generally, our daily job to contribute and to enable through connectivity a globally sustainable agenda. So number 2, with regards to environmental sustainability, we have committed in AT&T globally to becoming carbon neutral by 2035. So to achieve this goal, we supply an increasing part of our electricity demand through renewable energy sources, mainly solar power. This is key for an environmentally sustainable recovery. And as Mauricio just pointed out, there's no trade-off between sustainability and what makes sense financially. This is actually a business opportunity. Third point, we also acknowledge and embrace our crucial role in terms of social impact. Private companies operate in communities, not in the void. So in the last 5 years in AT&T Mexico, for example, employees have accumulated over 100,000 hours of volunteer work for the community. During the pandemic, we worked, we donated 1 million plates of food. We work on digital literacy, and we always work on combating cyberbullying for children and youth. We need to be responsible of the impacts, the positive ones of technology, but also the potentially negative ones. And we need to be there working with our communities. And fourth point, the pandemic's economic impact has disproportionately affected women, as well as minority groups. So in Mexico, as an example, this happened all over Latin America, from roughly 3 million jobs lost compared with January of 2020, women occupied 62% of jobs lost. So we didn't only have less women in the economy, in the labor market, but we also lost more women occupied jobs. So, and recovery has happened disproportionately in the informal labor sector for women. So that's also precarious jobs. So thus, as leaders of all kinds of organizations, we are responsible for ensuring that in our organization, our employment decisions work towards and not against gender equality. So a sustainable an agenda of sustainability and diversity and inclusion makes business sense, and it's also our responsibility. So, Mauricio, let me now ask you a question. More than ever, public-private collaboration is really essential for a sustainable and inclusive recovery. Companies, governments, and international organizations really need to come together to work on this agenda. So Mauricio, please tell us about some of the concrete ways in which the IDB is promoting sustainability and private sector partnerships to really advance this recovery.
Thanks so much, Monica. Thank you for the question. Look, let me just bottom line, sustainable, inclusive recovery and growth is the #1 priority for the region and also the #1 priority for us here at the IDB. And I've reiterated this many times, but I'm going to do so again. The private sector has a crucial role to play in spurring this. And of course, it's the bank's responsibility to connect the dots, to collaborate, and to really enable that. Exactly about 6.5 months ago, almost 7 months, feels like 7 years, forever have passed since my first day on the job. And in fact, we've made a great deal of progress on this. At the center of the strategic vision that we crafted and we presented to the board that identifies the work areas that is the greatest potential that we see in promoting recovery and unlocking sustainable growth, we have the private sector right in the middle. And that's the Vision 2025 that I mentioned that we presented to our governors in Barranquilla, and I mentioned those earlier. Let me just tell you real quick, those 5 areas are regional integration and strengthening value chains, a historic once-in-a-generation opportunity that we're seeing as a result of the pandemic, ironically. Support for small, medium-sized firms, which are the backbone of our region's economy, is the second, and that's going to be key. As Monica said, digitalization, building the digital economy, that's a great opportunity, huge opportunity spurred by the pandemic. 4, empowering women working for gender equality and diversity. Nothing can have a greater impact on GDP, and obviously it's an important right thing to do. And 5th, bold action on climate change, because there are no trade-offs. So we want to use these focus areas to increase our work and its impact. And one great example came at our annual meeting last month in Barranquilla when we launched our Amazon initiative. And I think it's one of the most important climate initiatives in the world today. It's the first climate fund that the IDB has launched, and it's going to focus on bioeconomy, sustainable management of agriculture, livestock and forest, human capital, sustainable cities, and infrastructure. And that's important in that regards. We're actually fundraising now. We're in the fundraising phase for it, and working with both public and private sector donors and NGOs. We anticipate this initiative is going to reach $1 billion in commitment for Amazon projects, the only project that has all 7 countries of the Amazon invested in it. So, by the way, I'm always a salesman. I encourage you, of course, to partner with us on this Amazon initiative, because it's a great initiative. So if you're thinking about good opportunities, this is it. It's super exciting. Of course, there's no shortage, of course, of mutually beneficial work we can do in that regard. So thank you for allowing me to pitch. On that note, let me also mention one of the highlights, really, frankly, that I've had, and one of the things that I ran on and I'm very proud of during my tenure thus far here at the IDB. In February, I hosted our first private sector partners roundtable on the future of Latin America and the Caribbean, and leaders from 40 of the world's major corporations took part, including AT&T, and of course, one of our honorees here, Engie, and many of the companies in attendance today. And since then, we've gotten about a dozen other companies that have wanted to partner, because we really want to incorporate the private sector in our work streams on a daily basis. So these corporate partners pledged to work with us to mobilize resources in critical areas for recovery and sustainable growth, like including some of I mentioned, women's empowerment, digitalization, climate change, strengthening those regional value chains. And we plan to launch our working groups in the coming weeks, so stay tuned, in order to begin discussions and define concrete projects. I don't want rhetoric, but I want action. But of course, for those that aren't yet members, also I'm going to make a pitch again, please, it's not too late to join us as well. We obviously want to partner with you to advance the region's development and to seize the opportunities out of this moment of crisis. You know, last year, despite COVID-19, we had one of our best years of resource mobilization. We unlocked nearly $4.4 billion for our countries from both network of public, private, nonprofit, philanthropic, and academic partners as well. In the past, we partnered with one of today's honorees, CEMEX, to help tackle youth employment. And early this year, IDB Invest, our private sector arm, partnered with Engie Chile to debut the world's first pilot project to monetize the cost of decarbonization. Super exciting. In other words, there's wide-ranging opportunities for real impact here that can spark recovery, that can build societies and inspire shareholders at the same time. And we do that working together with the private sector.
So with this hands-on approach, and before we lose Mauricio to his very busy day. Just one more remark from Monica. What are some of the opportunities and what are some of the obstacles? It's your turn to pitch the IDB on working together with multilateral organizations like the IDB.
Thank you, Moni. So us people are, of course, the largest opportunity and unfortunately also the obstacle. We need to drive awareness, education, collaboration. That's what we're doing here today. In terms of environmental sustainability, the first greatest opportunity is coming together and working in alignment, because then we can really achieve the goals, for example, in terms of an energy matrix based on clean and renewable energy and carbon emission reduction. There is a big opportunity for companies in terms of cost reduction. It is great for the planet, but it also makes sense for business. Another point is that investing in renewable energies, this is great for the world again, but also great for business, including because it creates better paid jobs for youth, and it creates opportunity for the talent of our people in every organization, in every kind of organization that we might lead. So the main obstacle is really persuading all stakeholders of the urgency to achieve a more balanced energy matrix, and the same applies to other forms of sustainability, but I'm talking environmental here. We can all become an active part of this critical transition and have a much more sustainable recovery. We know the pandemic had effects that were disproportionate on certain aspects of our society and on certain groups of people. Let's make the recovery be particularly inclusive towards those who suffered the greatest impacts from the economic impacts of the pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you both. And in a perfect world, Mauricio, you would do this every week, sit down with a bunch of companies with your contagious energy.
I think I do it. I think I do. I actually do it. But we need to do more of it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, Monica, Mauricio. It's been great having you, and it's been great for you to share your experience with our honorees. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So after this uplifting outlook, it is clear that joint work between multilaterals, governments, private sector will be, as the IDB has pledged, the true engine for a sustainable recovery. And this is a great time to turn to the presentation of awards. So a little bit about the IndexAmerica Awards that were created in 2018 by Latin Trade to recognize the efforts of companies who've moved beyond financial goals to become stewards of sustainable agendas, not only within their companies, but in the small and large communities that they serve. And since Latin Trade began distributing these awards, 25 companies from a dozen countries in the categories of multilatinas, environment, social impact, development, and corporate governance have been recognized. And today we'll recognize 5 companies from different sectors, different countries of origin, and learn from them what their successes and challenges are and what they're planning for the future. We have on the screen CEMEX, representatives from CEMEX, ENGIE Brazil, Givaudan Switzerland, Kimberly Clark, and Merck, who will now proceed to share their experience with us. And we will now recognize this year's winners in alphabetical order. The first award goes to CEMEX Mexico, winner for the category of Multilatinas and represented by Vicente Saizó, Corporate Director of Sustainability. Congratulations, CEMEX, and congratulations, Vicente.
Good morning. This is Vicente Saizó, Head of Sustainability for CEMEX. Thank you very much to Latin Trade for the invitation. Very much for the recognition. We have been working at ESG matters for several years, trying every year to improve and to make our disclosure of public information the best possible so that we can be evaluated on a fairly basis by all stakeholders interested in the non-financial performance of CEMEX. No? You know that these days, sustainability performance, ESG, is one core element of decision-making for investors. And we are glad that we have a very strong and robust internal capability to be able to address this challenge and to always have the best available information organized with the most recognized frameworks and following the most strict standards and guidelines that are out there, so that we can facilitate the understanding, no? And that can help create the evaluation and perception on the sustainability performance that we have. You know that is now very complementary with the financial performance, and with both elements, investors can make relevant decisions on what companies they want to bet on, and what sectors are doing some efforts to change the way that they are doing business. At CEMEX, we have a very strong and robust sustainability strategy, where we work in all the different aspects related to environmental, social, and governance. In environmental, I would have to highlight that we have recently made a jump in the level of ambition that we have looking forward. We have announced during 2020 new ambitions for reducing CO2 emissions by 35% by the year 2030. And then thinking beyond 2030, with our end product concrete, we have communicated the ambition that we want to deliver globally to all of our customers in all of our geographies, net zero CO2 concrete. A product that will be neutral in every job site that we serve, and that will help our customers, contractors, builders develop the low impact infrastructure that the world requires to continue growing and to continue developing. In addition to climate action, we have other very relevant strategies in social impact, working with our communities. One of the main strengths of CEMEX is our social programs that we have developed and deployed for many years, beneficiating and creating value for many millions of people in the communities that are close or nearby our operations. And also very relevant, these ESG standards have also helped us to make adjustments on our governance and how the CEMEX board operates. We have, for a few years now, a sustainability committee at the board that drives the whole sustainability agenda for CEMEX, and so the strategy guidelines come all the way from our board. Again, I appreciate very much the opportunity of being here, for the recognition that you are giving, and for sharing what has been our experience in ESG. And we hope to keep that level of ambition, keep also the continuous improvement mentality regarding the way that we disclose information that can be relevant for all stakeholders to make the most educated decisions on what companies they want to invest in, and what companies as CEMEX are taking a proactive approach and a leading role in changing the way that the cement and the concrete industry operate worldwide. Thank you very much again, and have a good rest of the day.
Thank you very much, Vicente. And we will now proceed to the next award. It is for ENGIE Brazil for the category of environment, and will be received by Eduardo Satamini, CEO of the company. Congratulations.
I wish a very good morning to all of you, especially to Mr. Mauricio Claver-Carone, President of Inter-American Development Bank, Bernardo Guilhermon, Manager of the Office of Outreach and Partnerships of IDB, Karen Vicental, VP of Sustainability for Latin America at Unilever, Monica Asp from AT&T Mexico, as well as to the representatives of the companies awarded in this edition of the Latin Trade Award, as well to other attendees of today's meeting. It's a great honor to us to receive this recognition on behalf of the whole ENGIE Brazil team. For more than 20 years, we have been operating in a sustainable manner in the country, always going beyond what is expected from us. Social and environmental responsibility are at the heart of our business strategy, with sustainability being a non-negotiable part of every decision taken by us. Today's award is endorsed by a wide variety of environmental programs led by our team in different locations where we are currently implementing projects and operating power plants. We are so proud of them that it's worth mentioning a few iconic ones. First, the Biodiversity Matrix Project, a core initiative that aims at managing risk, impacts, and opportunities for the conservation of Brazilian biodiversity in all the surrounding areas of our power plants. The second successful project is the Headwaters Conservation Program, which has already recovered and protected more than 2,000 headwaters in several Brazilian states, also involving community environmental awareness activities and education practices. Last but not least important, we would like to mention the program that aims to protect the ichthyofauna in the reservoirs of the company's hydroelectric plants, enabling the release of more than 510,000 fish fries in two river basins near our electrical plants. These three programs are only a sample of what we have been doing to protect, promote, and recover our environment. For you to have a little sense of what these projects are and why we are so passionate about them, we have prepared a short video to show you the main facts and figures of this project. ENGIE Brazil monitors its environmental objectives and targets through the integrated management system with all the main high-level standards applied and certified. Such initiatives, added to so many others that reiterate our sustainable management, have placed us on the Corporate Sustainability Index of Brazilian Stock Exchange, B3, since the beginning of its ranking 16 years ago. We are very proud of this award, which recognizes and reinforces our commitment to the Brazilian environment. It is an achievement to celebrate by all our employees regarding their daily dedication to so many projects that are translated into our way of doing business and for a more sustainable future.
Thank you. Congratulations to ENGIE Brazil for the great work you do. Our next award is for Givaudan, Switzerland, in the category of corporate governance, and it will be received by Halvard Bremes, Global Head of Sustainability. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So hello, everyone. I am Halvard Bremes, and I lead the global sustainability for Givaudan, and I'm based in Switzerland. And we are today incredibly proud to receive this award and recognition in our work in sustainability and corporate governance around ESG. So Givaudan, if you don't know it, it's a global leading company in taste, well-being, fragrances, and beauty. We are a B2B company with a heritage stretching back for over 250 years. So sustainability is about making it successful for another 250 years. But as we grow together with our customers, and as we strive to be a force for good, it's even more important that we accelerate our progress against our ambitious sustainability goals. So for Givaudan, what does it mean? It means that being a successful, sustainable business is all about creating value environmentally, socially, and economically. It is to combine the tangibles and the new tangibles. We will never use the word no, not tangibles. It's the new tangibles we're talking about when it comes to environment and social. So sustainability sits at the very heart of our business, and its corporate governance is articulated and guided around our purpose. Our purpose is creating for happier, healthier lives with love for nature. And it's an invitation to imagine together. So we have ambitious goals to translate this into pragmatic performance. And I'm going to take a few examples. The first is what we want and have and need to maintain. That Givaudan is a place where people love to be and grow. And that very practically, we have an ambition that before 2030, 50% of our senior leaders will be women. We are going to eliminate all single-use plastics from our sites and operations, even if we are B2B business. You hear it very often in more B2C companies, but now we need to step up in further up in the supply chain. We also want to become a climate positive business across our sites, operations, and fully run our full supply chain. Today, we power Givaudan with more than 80% of renewable electricity. Since 2015, we have cut our greenhouse gas emissions by more than 30% in absolute terms. And we are on our way to reduce by minus 70% on 2030 and then becoming climate positive. So just to give you an example of the work we're doing in climate action, I have a little video to share with you now.
Change. It's in the air. The climate crisis means that business as usual is no longer acceptable. At Givaudan, we want to accelerate action to live our purpose and become a successful, sustainable business, a force for good in the world. But this isn't just about keeping us in business. It's about helping people to live happier, healthier lives with love for nature, which is why we have a big ambition to become climate positive before 2050. Put simply, we must remove more greenhouse gases from the atmosphere than we put in. You can divide Givaudan's emissions into 3 areas. Those that come from our offices, factories and vehicles, those that come from the electricity we buy, and those that come from our supply chain, from our farmers in the fields to our delivery drivers on the roads, and everything in between. We've set bold targets across all 3 areas that are supported by the latest climate science with the aim to limit the warming of our world. And we've set key milestones in 2030 and 2040 to make sure we're on track to deliver before 2050. But how are we going to get there? Well, we're already getting to work. We're looking at our processes and buildings to use energy smartly. We're pulling the plug on fossil fuels and plugging into renewables. We're putting our ingredients under the microscope and innovating with our customers and suppliers to cut emissions out of the equation. We're rethinking how we move materials, products, and ourselves, reducing flights and increasing virtual meetings wherever possible. We're investing in carbon storage too, planting trees and revitalising ecosystems. And this is just the beginning. Every single one of us has a role to play by innovating with our teams, by working closely with our suppliers and ingredients, and collaborating with our customers to develop imaginative new products and ways of doing things. By pursuing our bold purpose and sustainability ambitions with passion and striving for B Corp status as proof of our commitment, we will become climate positive together. Our business, society, and planet depend on it. Climate positive. Let's imagine together.
So all of these actions are supported and driven by good corporate governance. And that's why it's so important that we get this right. And this is why we're very, very proud of getting the award today on the corporate governance. So the journey to become a certified B Corp is also what we see as the external verified proof that we're living our purpose every day. And as the biggest B2B business embarking on this journey, it's very important to recognize the fact that action is so much powerful when you have good governance, good ESG and full transparency on ESG matters, and embarking downstream in the supply chain and upstream in the supply chain and with our customers. So in 2020, we also become founding member of the B Movement Builders, because corporate governance is also about giving back to companies around us, because we want to also contribute to the acceleration of the B Corp movement and promote a much more inclusive business governance model. So when we summarize that, we recognize all this urgency, the climate crisis, the societal, the economic challenges that the world is facing, and the scale of our ambitions, we simply cannot do this alone. That's why teamwork, collaboration is the only way to go. So with all our 16,000 employees across the regions we operate, with our partners, our suppliers, our customers, having great collaboration is absolutely vital to become and sustain the approach of a successful, sustainable business and to drive the change we want to see. So to conclude, I'm extremely proud to receive this award on behalf of the entire company and to all of those we are working with to realize our bold ambitions, not only in the Latin America region, but across the world. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Albert, and congratulations. That was a great animated video as well.
Thank you.
Our next award goes to Kimberly Clark, represented by Gonzalo Uribe Arbeláez, Operations President for Latin America. And this company is a winner for the category of development. Congratulations to you and your team.
So hi, Moni and Latin Trade, thanks for the invitation. For me and for all our employees across Latin America and the world, it's an honor to be here and also to be present with such great companies sharing all the great things being done across the globe, working on making a world a better place. I received this award in the name and on behalf of all our strategic partners. We by ourselves in Kimberly Clark will never do this or will never progress without the strategic partners that we have, meaning NGOs, customers, startups, and other ones. And also very important to reinforce the commitment of our employees. More than 12,000 employees that we have here in Latin America who work every day behind this great mission and purpose. Just to share with all of you, we at Kimberly Clark are highly committed in providing best quality products, which are essentials for a better world. We provide products for our consumers, for our customers, and for our communities. And definitely we have a great responsibility to make sure that our impact in the planet is as minimal as possible or even eliminating it. Reinforcing that mission that we have and that purpose, we have recently launched our 2030 sustainability strategy. Despite the context that we faced last year with the COVID and all these health challenges that we are facing across the world, and in Latin America, which we have been hit heavily, as was expressed by the previous speakers, we are reinforcing our commitment with this strategy and with this goal, being more bold or even more aggressive in our targets and making high commitments in order to progress and accelerate the pace into becoming a better company with all the success of the communities in which we operate. These extraordinary times that we have faced in the last couple of months have reminded us the importance of our brands, of our products, which are essential for a better life. As you all know, Kimberly Clark produced essential products that are broadly distributed across the world, more than 150 countries around the world, and are basic for the improvement of the quality of life of all our consumers. We have been in this business for more than 150 years, and the values of the company had made it important for us to work directly hand by hand with our partners in this sustainability enterprise, trying to help all the consumers, but especially those ones that are in need. We here know in Kimberly Clark that the next 10 years will be decisive. Consumers are really concerned about the impact of products that they may have in the environment. And we as a company, as a manufacturing company, distribution company, we are also concerned about that. That's why we partner with all the different sectors, communities, customers, and society in general to make all these sustainability strategies work at the purpose of the community and the planet. We will continue to focus on where Kimberly Clark can make a significant change. And we have decided to work in 4 different areas. Climate change, of course, is one of the most important ones. forests, given the nature of our products and our manufacturing facilities, water, that is a fundamental one, and also around plastics. Our focus on these 4 pillars is critical for the future of the planet. Our inspiring ambition also is to focus efforts behind the well-being of at least 1 billion people around the world by 2030. If you all remember, our products have a broad distribution and reaches more than 2.5 billion consumers around the world because we are essential products. So our commitment right now until 2030 is to make a huge difference in at least 1 billion people around the world, making our products available, also providing access to sanitation, that is one of our key pillars, better education around the world, women empowerment, and anti-stigma programs that really support underserved communities around the world. And as we all know, Latin America is one of those regions that is more in need right now. We all at KC are really proud of the work our company is doing to meet the challenges of today, but most importantly, prepared for the challenges of tomorrow. I'm really enthusiastic about what the future holds for us and within Kimberly Clark. Thank you again for this inspiring award. I would like to really thank Latin Trade on behalf of all the employees of Latin America and the world within KC. And this reinforces our commitment to work even harder on a daily basis in order to have a better planet for our kids and for everyone. I will leave you with a very short video that somehow summarizes our sustainability strategy going forward and all the programs in which Kimberly Clark is committed to continue to perform well in the next couple of years. Really thank you again for the invitation, for the award, and let's run the video.
Thank you, Kimberly Clark, for the great work you do and for the video. Last but not least, we will award Merck the IndexAmerica Award for Social Impact. The company will be represented by Paolo Carli, Senior Vice President, followed by a special appearance by Dr. Frank Stangenberg-Haverkamp, Chairman of the Family Board and former CEO. Congratulations to Merck.
Good morning, Muni, Richard, Mauricio, Monica, all the other winners. Listen, thank you for inviting us. It's a great honor, I would say, for Merck to receive the 2021 Latin Trade IndexAmericas Sustainability Award. in recognition of our efforts on environmental and societal value in Latin America. Thank you for the trade team for this recognition. And of course, I also want to congratulate all the other companies recognized today with the award for showing an equal commitment to sustainability. So for us at Merck, actually, scientific progress and acting responsibly is not just a new trend. It is an approach that is deeply ingrained in our corporate value and culture for more than 350 years. We like you say, we are the oldest pharmaceutical company in the world. And I think that always we had ingrained this idea of sustainability and giving back to society. I am personally responsible for the healthcare business of Merck, but these values and concepts, I can assure you, are clearly shared across the other businesses of Merck. So the life science business, in the electronics business, I would say worldwide. And now, Merck has been present in Latin America for almost 100 years. And I guarantee you that we intend to stay for at least another 100. We think that we have been positively contributing to the development of the region while impacting millions of patients' lives and customers. And again, I tell you that we will continue to do so going forward. Some examples of how our action is translating in Latin America. So we are running through the company and through the foundations that the Merck family, our shareholders and founders, are actually supporting. We're actually having initiatives such as research and educational programs for physicians to elevate the standard of care in the region. We have a Global Health Institute initiative for children in tropical Central America and South America, both projects supported by the Merck Foundation. We have a curiosity lab from our life science business to stimulate love of science among children and youth in Brazil. We implemented projects for waste recyclers for children living in landfill state in Mexico, and also initiatives to support children with disability in Central America and Peru by the Merck Family Foundation. And finally, we have programs of our corporate culture, like the promotion of multicultural and diverse management teams that have proven to possess a valuable effect and impact, not just, as many panelists were saying, from an ethical point of view, but because it just brings a more effective business results. So, and why can I comfortably say that we will continue with our commitment to sustainability? I think because it's, as I said, it's not just a new trend, but I think it's really ingrained in our corporate culture, and it stems from our founders and shareholders, the Merck family. And that's the reason why I personally want to dedicate this award to the Merck family, in the person of, okay, you can argue I'm biased, but in the person of a great and noble man, without whom all of this would not be possible. Somebody that I can proudly consider a friend of our region, somebody that knows very well our region, by the way, but also a great inspirational leader that every day gives me and thousands of employees at Merck a purpose and make us work proud for this company. So let me introduce to you and dedicate this award to Dr. Frank Sangenberg-Averkamp, Chairman of the Executive Board and the Family Board of Merck. Dr. Frank, I would like to hand over to you, and thanks for being here.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much, Paolo, for your kind words. I'm blushing with all the praise you poured over me, which is absolutely not true. It's praise belongs to all our people who work for us. Yeah. So good morning, everybody, from Germany, from Darmstadt, our hometown since 353 years. Today is a very special day for me, as both Latin America and social responsibility are very close to my heart. And I'm proud that my company, Merck, receives this fantastic award, and I can be part of the ceremony today. Thank you for that. Indeed, sustainability has been the DNA of our company for many generations. And I'm the 11th generation of family owners of this company. And of course, now sustainability it is in the focus of our whole thinking and acting more than ever. We truly believe that through science and technology, we can achieve progress for all people. This is how we also want to tackle global challenges such as a pandemic and climate change. In particular, the COVID-19 pandemic posed an unprecedented situation for businesses and society in 2020. And as we all experience, it is ongoing now in 2021 as well. Since the outbreak of the pandemic, Merck has been intensively involved in the fight against the coronavirus. Worldwide, we support more than 35 testing solutions, 50 vaccine projects, and 20 programs for the development of COVID-19 therapies. In Latin America, we have collaborated through a wide range of actions as well, including with donations. At the same time, we need to continue to positively look and impact the future. Our new sustainability strategy embraces our ambition to contribute to society worldwide. It is based on our endeavors on building on our progress in recent years. We developed new strategy and sustainable goals. So by 2030, we will achieve human progress for more than 1 billion people simply through our activities in the pharmaceutical and life science business. By 2030, 80% of all our electricity consumption within our company worldwide will be from renewable resources. By 2030, we will have integrated sustainability to all our value chains. We are already very much in progress of that. And by 2040, we will achieve climate neutrality and reduce our resources consumption even more. So these goals have become an essential element of our corporate strategy. Within those focus areas, we are implementing numerous initiatives and projects already today and even more in the future. So the Wall Street Journal placed Merck to be number 4 out of 100 most sustainable managed companies worldwide. And that is out of a total of 5,500 companies looked after and investigated. Another important aspect of our sustainability commitment is provided by the Merck Family Foundation. Paolo already mentioned that. We founded that in 2016, which not only combines many of my family's individual philanthropic activities under one roof, but is also considerably expanding its charitable work over the years. The Merck Family Foundation takes on social responsibility by supporting projects that brings benefit to the population in the vicinity of the sites of the Merck Group, our factories and offices in Latin America and worldwide. The objective of the Merck Family Foundation is primarily to support initiatives in the areas of healthcare, education, citizen initiatives, and social development to combat poverty. At the same time, the philanthropic arm of Merck Group, the Merck Foundation, aims to improve the health and well-being of people and advances their lives through science and technology. Our efforts are focused on training medical staff, nurses, and doctors to specialists in oncology, fertility, and diabetes. Over the past 4 years, we have trained more than 400 doctors, primarily so far in Africa, in these specialties. Furthermore, on improving access to quality and equitable health solutions, building healthcare, scientific research, and media capacity, and empowering young people in science, technology, engineering, and math, with a special focus on women and young women in underserved communities. So therefore, today, I'm very grateful and proud that we as Merck are receiving this valuable sustainability award in Latin America. Thank you for recognizing our efforts. This will help us to be even more effective to achieve our goals, or mutual goals, I may say, of our sustainability agenda in the future. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much, and warm congratulations to Merck and the great work that you do. If this were an event that's not virtual, this is the time where we would like to have a round of applause for this year's Index America winners. But we're not. So I would like to introduce Karen Wiesenthal. She's the VP of Sustainability for Unilever. She's last year's Index America winning company in the category of corporate governance. She will share with us some of her company's initiatives and what happens after you win this award and what happens to your company with this recognition. So welcome, Karen. We look forward to hearing from you.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you see me? Because I have a, okay, great. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Muni, for your brief introduction. And as Muni said, I'm Karen Wiesenthal. I'm Corporate Affairs and Sustainable Business Vice President for Latin America at Unilever. And I'm really very glad to be part of this event today, where companies are recognized for their big efforts to address environmental and social challenges. And mainly, especially in this context, we are undergoing a pandemic situation. This have a significant, I'm sorry for the noise behind, but the telephone is, and the impact this pandemic is having on the livelihoods of our families in Latin America and the Caribbean mainly, no? So in these difficult times, close collaborations between companies, governments, and communities are more necessary than ever. Governments and wider society will be looking for ideas, creative thinking, and systemic solutions to tackle the consequences of this pandemic. And that's where companies have really a very important role to play. I'm going to give like a brief summary of what we are doing in Unilever and what have to do with the prize that we received last year. And to continue working on our 3 avenues that are health of the planet, improve people's well-being, and contribute to a more fairer, inclusive world. This year, we have made new commitments in these 3 avenues. Mainly, I would like to address the social commitments that are basically based on raising people's living standards, creating opportunities through inclusivity, and preparing people for the future of work. Also, in our gender balance agenda, I'm really very proud to say that we have achieved more than our 50% of our managerial positions in Unilever, I would say worldwide, and even in Latin America, that sometimes is a little bit tougher. We are women that we are seated in manager positions. So this agenda, as you may know, is not new for us. We have belonged to our Sustainable Living Plan for the last 10 years. And we have addressed some social and environmental issues. For example, avoiding business disruption in some of our small suppliers in Argentina. We have empowered 30,000 vulnerable communities by giving them the opportunities to participate in our retail value chain in Mexico, in Ecuador, in Colombia, and the Caribbean, and also working with more than 4,000 recyclers that collect 1.6 million tons of post-consumer waste in Brazil. So my final message is that to achieve significant changes, it's really important to work together with communities, governments, ONGs, and to work in partnership. We believe that this is the path and the role that companies have to play in order to make a difference and improve social conditions are crucial. So thank you really very much. I would like to congratulate the companies that have been distinguished today with this action. And what I would like to say is we need to continue making purpose-led business and also to accelerate this agenda. We are late, so we need to accelerate much more this agenda to make a more inclusive world, but a more environmental, healthy planet for the future and for the next generation. So really, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Karen, for your remarks and also for being close to this award. And we hope that this year's winners will continue to engage with Latin trade and the IndexAmerica project. We are going to hear our closing remarks by Bernardo Guillamon. He's the head of strategic alliances for the IDB. He's been our partner since the beginning, a key champion of this event. Thank you, Bernardo, for your constant enthusiasm and as always for all of your support.
Well, thank you very much, Muni, and thank you, Karen, for your insights. And thanks so much again to all the participants and President Claver-Carone for their contributions to this dynamic and inspiring event. And special congratulations for all the winners awarded today. A special thanks to Richard Santiago, you, Muni, for all the support, as well as to my colleagues, Erika Chicola, who plays a crucial role in the relationship with Latin trade, as well as Vicky Flores, who leads the Partnerships and Resource Mobilization team, who is behind the IndexAmericas index. Today's event comes at a special time in our region. Latin America and the Caribbean is being hit the hardest by the COVID crisis, and countries are wrapping up efforts to acquire and distribute vaccines, extend social protection to citizens, but also to businesses, and also jumpstart sustainable inclusive recovery. As President Claver-Carone just emphasized, we recognize and effectively delivering these objectives require collaborative multi-stakeholder efforts, which private sector play a crucial role. Our testament to this commitment is the Private Sector Partners Coalition for the Future of Latin America and the Caribbean, which just launched a couple of months ago and represents a historic movement to channel investments, innovation, and knowledge to the region in pursuit of sustainable and equitable recovery. To echo the President, we thank all of those who already signed up to be part of this coalition, but also welcome others to join as well. Fortunately, this commitment is a growing tendency. We are noted among private sector actors looking beyond the bottom line and trying to impact communities where they operate in terms of social, environmental, and also governance aspects. And we see, for instance, in 2019, that even before the pandemic reminded us about the interconnectedness and importance of helping each other, we saw ESG capital markets funds grow 15%, and in 2020 also we observed a double-digit increase. And already we'll see that $1 out of $4 of institutional investments funds are already invested in ESG funds. Further evidence of growth that sustainable investment perform also as well or better than traditional investments. And a testament of that success are the companies that we recognize here today. At the IDB Group, we're making sure that further nurturing these trends. And for example, IDB put at the center the finance, climate financing and green financing as the main part of our financing in the region. In several aspects also that they want to highlight are, we, for instance, put new guidelines in terms of ESG, which are world standards into all of our operations. We celebrate also corporate sustainability through efforts like IndexAmericas. We work with local stock markets to also launch sustainability systems in their exchanges. We're also creating platforms like the Green Transparency Platform for bonds to be issued and standardized along the region. We also support the issuance of green, gender, and social bonds for corporates and financial institutions in the region. And we've seen tremendous demand in these opportunities in the capital markets in the region and abroad. We also are creating tools like SDG Investment Toolkit to guide investors towards opportunities to close the gap in SDGs. And we're also expanding and strengthening our cooperation and financing with corporate actors to pursue the recovery in the region. But I want to close also today's event with a call for action. A call for action to for you in the business side to identify opportunities within your business model that could impact further the lives of the community, of the people in the communities you operate, by addressing especially these aspects, environmental, social, governance, and also aspects that could impact the development of the communities. But also to offer the opportunity to partner with us and to be your partner in these efforts. But I also want to ask those that are in the financial industry to look further into the results of the research that even each day shows us that even investing in ESG not only is more profitable, but it's also more resilient to crisis with less volatility, and also to adjust their investment strategies to reflect these opportunities. And Latin America is one of the best places to particularly apply these strategies. We hope that you join us to improve lives, and we look forward to continue to work together. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Bernardo. And before we close, I would like to recognize the person behind all of this initiative, a hardworking, quiet, but very determined editor-in-chief of Latin Trade, Santiago Gutierrez. He's been here with his video off. He's done all the work. Congratulations, Santiago, for continuing your commitment to presenting this award and holding this event despite the difficulties of holding it online. So really a round of virtual applause to you. And it's been great to work with the Latin Trade team, David, Laura, Alejandro, Tatiana. It's not easy to put all this together with everyone all over the world and videos, etc. And you've been great. And also the teams from all the companies that we've been in touch with almost every day in the past week. And so thank you also to those teams. You've made a great job. Done a great job to make this event happen. So on behalf of Latin Trade, we thank you all for joining us. We congratulate our winners and look forward to holding this event in person next year. Have a great day.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Bye, and thank you all.
Thank you. Goodbye.